The car you're saving up for is going to make you poorer than the car you already own. Not because of the price tag, because of what happens after you buy it. Somewhere right now, someone making less money than you is quietly worth more than you'll ever guess. And somewhere else, someone who looks like they've made it is one missed paycheck from losing everything. You've seen both. You just didn't know you were looking at them the wrong way. Why do some of the wealthiest people you'll never notice choose to look completely ordinary? Why do the people who show off the most, the cars, the trips, the brands, so often end up the most broke? And why does looking like you have nothing sometimes give you more financial power than looking like you have everything? Stay with me, because if you leave before the middle of this video, you're going to miss the exact reason this happened. And you might keep making the mistake that's quietly draining your future without you even feeling it happen. By the end, you'll understand the hidden reason wealthy people protect their image on purpose, and why the moment you stop performing wealth is the moment you start actually building it. Here's something that's going to sound strange at first. Looking rich and being rich are almost never the same thing. You already know this. But knowing it and living it are two different things. Think about the last time you saw someone post a vacation, a new car, a new bag. Your brain did something automatic. It assumed money. It assumed success. It assumed they had it figured out, but you weren't looking at their bank account. You were looking at their spending. And spending is the easiest thing in the world to fake. A car lease is $650 a month. Anyone can sign that. A financed watch is $180 a month for 4 years. Anyone can wear that. A vacation on a credit card is a swipe. Anyone can post that. None of it tells you what's happening behind it. So if the visible stuff doesn't tell the real story, what does? Think about social media for a second. Every feed you scroll is a highlight reel of spending, not a report of net worth. You never see the credit card statement behind the vacation photo. You never see the minimum payment behind the new furniture. You're comparing your actual financial reality to other people's curated performance, and that comparison is rigged from the start. Let's use real numbers because this is where it gets uncomfortable. Say you make $70,000 a year. After taxes, that's roughly $54,000 or about $4,500 a month. Now say you lease a car for $650 a month. That's already 14% of your take-home pay gone before rent, before food, before anything else. Add a $200 a month phone upgrade you financed. Add $150 a month in subscriptions you forgot you had. Add a night out every week that averages $120. That's another $480 a month. You're now spending close to $1,480 a month, almost a third of your income on things that look good but build nothing. If you had invested that $1,480 a month instead, at a modest 7% average annual return, in 20 years that becomes roughly $770,000. Read that again. That's not a hypothetical. That's basic math. That's the actual, mathematically real cost of looking successful for 2 decades. Now stretch it further. Housing does the same thing, just slower and quieter. Renting an apartment $300 a month above what you actually need, just because the address sounds better, doesn't feel like a big decision in the moment. But $300 a month for 20 years, invested instead at that same 7% average return, is close to $156,000. One slightly nicer address, $156,000. That's the trade, whether you realize you're making it or not. Financing makes all of this feel smaller than it is. A $3,000 sofa financed at 0% for 24 months feels free. It isn't free, it's $125 a month you've now committed before you even know what else that money could have done. Multiply that feeling across a car, a phone, furniture, and a vacation package, and you're not managing one payment. You're managing 5 quiet subscriptions to your own image. Even the small recurring stuff adds up faster than it feels. A premium gym membership at $80 a month instead of a $25 basic one. A streaming bundle you upgraded for a slightly better plan. $35 a month instead of $15. None of it feels like a decision about your future. It feels like $20 here, $60 there. But $95 a month invested at that same 7% return over 20 years is close to $50,000. A number that size, hiding inside choices that small. And here's the part that stings a little. You already know a version of this story. Maybe it's the car you financed to impress people at work who don't think about you at all once you leave the parking lot. Maybe it's the vacation you couldn't really afford, but everyone was posting theirs, so you needed to post yours. Maybe it's the dinner you said yes to because saying no felt embarrassing. You don't have to say it out loud, but somewhere in the back of your mind, you already know exactly which purchase this is talking about. Maybe it's the pressure from a coworker who mentioned their new car 3 times in one meeting, and suddenly you're reliable, paid-off car felt embarrassing to park next to theirs. Maybe it's family expecting you to host the holiday dinner a certain way, because that's what doing well is supposed to look like. Maybe it's just the quiet, constant feeling of being slightly behind everyone else, even when nobody ever actually said that to you. That's not a flaw in you. That's status signaling, and it's one of the oldest, most automatic behaviors humans have. Your brain is wired to want to look like it belongs, to look like it's doing fine, to look like it's ahead. It's not weakness, it's biology being used against your wallet. So if almost everyone falls into this, why do some people manage to escape it? Before we go further, I want you to notice something. If any part of what I just said made you think of a specific purchase, a specific moment you tried to look a certain way, that's exactly the pattern this video is built to help you break. This channel exists for people who are done pretending money is complicated, when really most of it comes down to psychology. If you want more videos that make you rethink the way you actually see money instead of just watching another finance video and forgetting it by tomorrow, subscribe now. This is the kind of thing you'll want to revisit. Okay, let's keep going, because the next part is the one that actually changes how you'll spend money for the rest of your life. Here's the pattern that keeps showing up over and over among people who actually build wealth and keep it. They almost never look like it, not because they're hiding in shame, because they figured out something most people never do. The moment you show wealth, you invite pressure. Pressure to keep it up, pressure to spend more next time, pressure from family who suddenly need help, pressure from friends who expect you to cover dinner, pressure from a version of yourself that now has a reputation to protect. Every dollar you spend to look successful creates an invisible expectation to spend that much or more, forever. That's the trap. It's not one purchase. It's a lifestyle you now have to keep feeding. Someone driving a 10-year-old car with $400,000 sitting quietly in an investment account isn't hiding out of embarrassment. They're protecting themselves from exactly that pressure. No one asks them for a loan. No one expects them to pick up the check. No one is silently judging their next purchase. Their money is theirs, private, untouched by other people's expectations. This is financial privacy, and it's one of the most underrated forms of freedom there is. It's not secrecy for the sake of secrecy. It's simply refusing to hand other people the information they'd use, consciously or not, to form expectations of you. The less people know about what you have, the less they can ask of it, and the fewer decisions you make out of obligation instead of choice. There's also a version of this that shows up in how wealthy people use debt. Not the debt that finances a lifestyle, the sofa, the car, the vacation, but debt used deliberately on their terms to grow something. A mortgage on an asset that appreciates, a loan against an investment instead of liquidating it. That kind of debt builds. The debt tied to appearances only drains. So if privacy protects wealth, what does visibility actually cost you beyond money? It costs you decisions. Once people believe you're doing well, you start making choices to protect that image instead of your future. You upgrade the apartment you didn't need to upgrade. You take the trip you can't really afford, again, because last year's trip is now the expectation. You say yes to things a quieter version of you would have said no to. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's sneaky because it never feels like one big decision. It feels like 100 small, reasonable-sounding ones. Meanwhile, the people quietly building real wealth are doing something almost boring. They're automating their savings before they see the money. They're driving cars a few years old. They're wearing the same jacket for winters in a row, not because they can't afford better, because better doesn't buy them anything they actually need. They already have the thing everyone else is trying to buy with the car, the watch, the trip. They have confidence that doesn't need an audience. So here's a question worth sitting with. What if the version of you that stopped trying to look successful is the version that finally becomes successful? What if the money you're not spending on appearances this year is the exact amount that changes your life in 15 years? What if the real flex was never the car in the driveway, but the fact that you don't need anyone to see it to know your future is already handled? Looking ordinary won't get you likes. It won't get you compliments in a group chat. It won't make anyone assume you're doing well. But it will let you keep your money. It will let you build quietly without an audience demanding more from you every time you succeed a little. It will let your future self inherit decades of decisions your current self was strong enough to make without applause. The wealthiest version of you may never look impressive to anyone else. But one day, when you check the number that actually matters, you'll understand why that was always the point. Nobody is going to clap when you skip the upgrade. Nobody is going to notice the trip you didn't take, the car you didn't lease, the balance you didn't finance. That's exactly why it works. Real financial freedom was never built for an audience. It was built for the version of you that gets to stop worrying years before anyone else even realizes that was ever the goal.